artist talk this month. Her name is Sara Stathas. She graduated from MyEd and is local Milwaukee. She does editorial and commercial work.
I'm the president, and my co-president is Marissa. We have Alexis, Michaela, Lainey, and Kenzie, and we're really happy to have you all here. Thank you for coming. It's been great, and we're so happy that Sarah's able to talk with us. It's a pleasure and very exciting. So I would like to introduce some of our events this upcoming month. We have an urban hike and like a gallery night on April 21st. I mean, we're going to gallery night and we're going to have urban hike. So there's an event on Facebook. And then April 28th, we're planning a Chicago trip.
Or May 5th, but probably the 28th of April.
April 28th is what we said. So that's when it'll be happening. So we would.
Saturday?
That is a Friday.
Friday?
Yes,
It's a Friday. Yes. So
It is a Friday.
Yes.
it is a Friday. So if you guys would.
I mean, they work Fridays. We can take off.
That'd be great. So that's what we're
It's worth it.
thinking right now. But
We'll send out an email with a sign-up sheet and more information.
okay, but we're gonna let Sarah speak. So everyone have your attention and thank you.
Oh, the music, yeah, I was
Just
wondering.
yeah, just do it right now.
I do, okay, yeah.
I never thought about.
I just thought of it too, while the music was playing, I was like, wait. So just, yeah.
Beautiful, thank you.
Alright. Well, thank you guys for inviting me to do this. And I would love to have this more of a like discussion sort of situation than me just talking at you for a half an hour, 45 minutes or so. So what I'm going to do is going to start with a slideshow. And I put it together as sort of an overview of my work, and within the slideshow I'm including tear sheets so you can, so I shoot a lot of editorial, some commercial, but a lot of editorial work. So most of the work that you're going to see in the slideshow was an assignment or a project that got published, that was a personal project, but mostly assignment work. And so not all the tear sheets are like great, but some of the tear sheets are, so that's why they're going to be in here. Almost everything that you'll see was an assignment that was published as a piece in a magazine or somewhere. So you'll kind of see that interspersed where you'll see like a few pictures from an assignment and then evolve into a tear sheet and see how that kind of plays out. So after the slideshow, I just really want to talk to you guys about specific photos or specific assignments. I love talking about the behind the scenes stuff of like the people that I photographed, the locations, how did I get the shot, how did I decide to light it, all that stuff. Like just go crazy, ask me questions with that sort of thing. So while you're watching the slideshow, just kind of maybe like key in on a couple pictures that you might want to ask me about after. Like she said, I'm from Milwaukee, born and raised in Milwaukee, went to school in Cleveland, and went to art school in Cleveland, and I have a BFA in painting. I did graduate from MyEd, finished up at MyEd, and started photography the day I graduated from MyEd, really, as an assistant. I'm not really taking my own pictures yet, so it's been a slow evolution, you guys. I mean, I guess we all as artists go at our own pace, creatively and like in the real world wise, like kind of finding our way and what works for what we need and how do we need to pay our bills, and if that's like trying to figure out how to combine a creative income, like a creative workplace with something like what you're saying, like I was just saying, like I did for years, or like how can I, and I also started shooting weddings. So you won't see any wedding pictures here. It was another lifetime ago, but I always tell photographers that are starting out that it was one of the best experiences as a photographer to start doing and have as like your first project, because you have so many variables that you're trying to figure out, from personalities, dealing with people, dealing with locations, dealing with weather, dealing with lighting, dealing with no lighting, dealing with moving quickly, hurting people, and making beautiful pictures, because that's really what a wedding's about, you know. Anyway, I will stop talking about it. Let's just play this little slideshow, and we'll go from there. Hopefully there'll be some volume on the song. my website too, except for the Rockettes and the Westminster Dog Show. I've shot, so we can turn the lights on. I shot, since moving back to Wisconsin, so I came back, moved back to Wisconsin in 2011. Just keep going, so everything is real, is actually quite new work, assignment work. Like I said, I went to school in Cleveland, I came back to Milwaukee, finished up my ad, stayed here, assisted for photographers, which is how I kind of got into the photo business, literally. Slowly but surely getting my own assignment work. Moved to Santa Fe, lived there for 7 years, moved to New York City, lived there for 3 years, moved back here, 2011. So yeah, most of this work is all since moving back in 2011. Starting from scratch after moving back to Milwaukee. So I really just want to ask you guys if there's any specific stuff that you've seen on my website or that you saw in the slideshow that you have questions about. A lot of what I do is making something out of nothing. And I know that, Alora, you had asked kind of what you guys would want to talk about. I do a lot of, I'm focusing more on farms and farm stories and agriculture. And so I have projects going on there, but I also shoot a lot of like business stuff, like a lot of stuff for trade magazines that you've never have heard of. Interesting assignments, interesting people, but usually really uninteresting environments, office buildings, people that don't like getting their photo taken. How do you make a picture out of that? Like that's a process I've become very good at, I will say. I don't give myself a pat on the back for a lot, but that's one thing I'm good at, is making something out of nothing and trying to figure out. So I put some kind of businessy looking ones in there too. You know, there's a photo of the lawyer, the old guy in front of a bookcase, and then he's also at his desk and a little tick up there. I mean, that guy's office was straight out of like 1978. Like the secretary in the front was the only other person in the office. She was smoking. We were up near Wapaka in some like little town on Main Street. It was bizarre. Like I thought that I went into like a time warp. And you know, the guy didn't really talk to me. He didn't really even understand why I was there to take pictures. It was for the ABA Journal magazine, which is the American Bar Association. So, I mean, actually I love those pictures of them. But it was, you know, there's always stories behind all these photos, I guess. And just, the thing that I love about editorial work is just meeting all the people that I get to meet and hearing their stories, and that's what I want to do, is I want to make photos about people's stories. Sometimes you have the opportunity to do that in like the deer hunter, the disabled deer hunter project that I did. You know, that was actually a personal project, and so I knew that going into that I wasn't going to take one picture and be done. It wasn't a one and done thing, and I knew that I had the time and the space to explore that. But sometimes you have to figure out how to tell the story in one picture, like this picture, like this or this assignment. You know, they're going to run one photo in the magazine, so you know, how am I going to tell this person's story in a photo? How am I going to engage the reader to want to read about this person and their story? I feel a huge responsibility in that as an editorial photographer. Is I want somebody to flip to the page with my photo on it and want to read about that person or read that story. So I'm kind of like the advertisement for the writer. Yes.
Can you talk about the farms and farmers? I love those images, and I know you've been going into it more.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping to learn more about.
Let's go to the little gallery here. The thumbnails don't work on here, huh? Oh no. I never know what's gonna work on what screen.
Maybe you could full screen it. Like press the green circle.
I don't know, it comes up on my computer as like a whole grid of pictures. Well, the thing that got me most interested in shooting this kind of work was after moving back to Milwaukee and shooting this project, which freaks people out. I actually did a portfolio review. So I did a portfolio review in New York 2 years ago, and had the books and had was talking to photo editors about my work, and every time I got to, it's kind of dark in there, these photos, they would just stop dead in their tracks and start talking about, like, not my photos really, but so these are mink. This is a mink farm, and it got to be just every person wanted to talk, give me their opinion about fur and minks and the whole, so those are all mink, little mink barns, I guess. So, and they're in these little cages, and there's one that they pulled out for me. They are cute, and I was just fascinated by the farm. And when you go into an assignment as a photographer, you kind of have to have an open, there's like just a clean slate of, like, you can have your opinions about things, but you kind of have to go and do it with an open mind. At least that's how I think about it. And
like unbiased. You have to like unbiased is what you object.
I think so.
Yeah.
We can talk a little bit more about that on the documentary side of things or the political side of things, because I've had pictures of Scott Walker, and believe me, I've been wanting to be unbiased about that. But you have to, your name's going to be on the picture, and for that sort of thing, it's a whole different, discourse. But I knew going into this assignment that I didn't think it was going to be a hard thing for me to deal with. It's a agricultural farming business. They raise minks. Dairy farmers raise dairy cows, and cattle farmers raise cows for beef. And I get that they're just being raised for their fur, but they're also being, there are other processes that they have that they're using all the other parts of the animal for, and they're, I don't wear mink, I don't even eat meat. So here I'm on a mink farm, like totally interested in what they do, because I just want to tell that story. So yeah, they're pretty vicious little guys, but they're super cute. No, you can't get them. You don't want to. They've got claws that'll rip you apart. They're little guys, but and this is the owner, John Pagel. I actually I'm still Facebook friends with him, and so I was the Brewers team photographer for the last 5 years, and he would see me at games and be like, "Hey, Sarah." So, I spent an afternoon with him on his farm, and so that's kind of how I started getting interested in it, because it was the best of all my worlds. I was outside, and I was exploring a new place, and I was making portraits, and I was telling a story, or figuring out how to tell that story, And I think the second assignment that really got me keyed in on it was this one. This was so both of the mink assignment and this assignment on the Pagel mink farm, and then this is on Bartel's farm in Mequon. Like I said, I just moved back to Milwaukee, and there had been a pretty bad drought the year before. I didn't even realize that. So the story was about the drought and how it was affecting farmers and orchards, and and of course I went after harvest, so everything was dead anyway. But I had the best day making portraits of this farmer and just walking around the fields by myself. This dog was following me around, and just kind of being my tour guide and just finding things along the way, and having the story kind of unfold, and having having an idea of what you want to photograph, but then just letting things happen as they go, which is something I think as photographers we have to count on, we have to rely on. Is you can have a plan, but you always have to be open to the variables that are gonna inevitably be thrown at you, even if you're like totally dialed in with your plan. Something's gonna happen. Even if you're in a studio, something's gonna happen. Your light's gonna, one of your strobes is gonna break down. Whatever it is, you just always have to think on your feet. I think that going back to that the wedding thing, like that was, and I was shooting film back then, so you really had to think fast and kind of figure it out as you were going, and still make pretty pictures. Because there's no excuse when you have an assignment. You can't be go back to your editor and say, well, the guy, he really didn't want his picture taken. Okay, really? Well, you're never gonna get hired again. So I guess the farm thing is just something that I want to keep exploring. I think for a long time, I think, and as artists too, you kind of have a goal that you set for yourself, which evolves over time. You start doing something, you don't know if you like it that much or it leads you to another place. And for me as a photographer, my biggest sort of goal when I first started was that I wanted to shoot for magazines. And the first time that I saw a photo of mine in a magazine, it was I don't get emotional about things too much, but I was jumping up and down. To see something of mine, an assignment that I shot printed in a magazine that other people could see was the best thing ever. I don't, I think fine artists, it's different now because it's so easy to get your work out there anywhere on the internet. But at least for me, having that physical, the physical evidence of your work on newsstands, magazines, in people's homes, in their mail that day. And the thing that I love about magazine work too is it's there for a month. And it's it's still going to be there on the internet, but it's there, it's everywhere, and then it's kind of forgotten about. So it's perfect for me. Especially if it's a great assignment, it's yes, it's out there for a month. It's not such a great assignment, and the work is it's only there for a month. So
I'm sure they're archived.
oh yeah, they're still there. They're always there. But
You're talking about
just yell them out.
you're talking about tear pages or tear sheets?
Yeah.
Sheets?
Yeah. Sorry, is that something weird that you've never heard? Okay.
Before this Milwaukee, I didn't know what it was. Kevin had to tell me, so I guess that is a good question.
It's just another way to say, published work and
Spread.
I
would say
spread.
Oh, okay.
yeah, like the public, after it's been published, after your photo goes to the wherever it's going to be, and they make the layout with it. The designer has their way with it. Sometimes.
How do you emotionally handle it?
Well, sometimes I shoot for that. Assignment work can be really limiting that way. Sometimes the editor has very specific requests. It has to be horizontal. There has to be room for type over here. I shoot a lot of covers for a bank magazine, and they have the same layout every month. It's got to be like this. It's kind of boring. It's somebody on the picture on the cover like this, and they have to have their logo up here, and there's got to be type here. So you're aware of that when you're taking those pictures, and sometimes it's not a good thing. I get locked into that, and then I can't see beyond that restriction. What was the question you asked? How I emotionally detach from that? Well, when you work with a designer or photo editor that knows what they're doing, it's like the gift. Catherine at Milwaukee Magazine, she was there when I first moved back to Milwaukee, and I started working with her, and her work. I loved seeing my photos in the magazine because of what she did with with them, especially when they were double page full bleed spreads, which is like this, this was a personal assignment. This farm shoot that I did on Long Arm Farm was a personal assignment, and then they took it and published it, and Catherine. So do you know what a full bleed, a double page full bleed is? Just that. It's like the magazine, there's no borders around it, it's your the full-on photo next to a full-on photo. And there's gonna always be some sort of, copy on it. But it's a good photo editor and designer that knows what to do with your pictures that, like, makes your life, like, the best. Because there was an assignment that was in the slideshow for People Magazine. People Magazine, right? Like that would be like a good example of a tear sheet, but it's ugly. I mean, it's People Magazine, like there's a different aesthetic there. They're not gonna do beautiful work like, even like Martha Stewart Magazine or whatever, it's People Magazine, it's gonna look like kind of crap. But it's still People Magazine, it's amazing to see my photos in that. In there, but so, and going back to saying, like the thrill, I guess, it's like a drug seeing my pictures, seeing my work, and being published. So this was the first cover of a magazine that I had, and I was one of the first editorial assignments I ever had. Did not have any idea it was going to be on the cover of a magazine at all. So it was quite a surprise. And I shot this whole assignment in color, but gave them black and white options, and they ended up running it in black and white, which is another like, oh my god, this is amazing. Yeah, I definitely had a breakdown when I saw this, because the editor did not tell me it was going to be on the cover, which is kind of funny. I don't know why, and I didn't ask. There were a few other photographers that were doing photos for this article, and I was actually in London when this came out, and I got an email back in the days when it was not easy to get email on your phone. I think I was on a friend's computer, or I was at like a web cafe, an internet cafe or something, and he said that the piece is out, check it out, and he had attached a file of the PDF of the cover, but it didn't load, so I had no idea. So I was like in London, I'm like, okay, let's go to the bookstore and find a magazine. Second place I went into, I saw it, and I just screamed. So somebody must have thought that something bad happened, but I think it was on the cover. And so yeah. So on my website there's a published work area. So you'll see how the photos get used. Oh, there's people. I mean, it's not horrible, but it wasn't my favorite photo from that shoot. So that's the People Magazine. What else can I say? So, I guess editorially speaking,